And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 2012 USCSA National Championships here live in the beautiful western Maine mountains at Sunday River, Maine, as we broadcast to you from the base of Barker Mountain and the Monday Morning Trail, the site of the 2012 USCSA Women's Alpine Giant Slalom Championships. Hi, everybody. Boss Hogg here alongside my friend and yours, Mr. Alex Beatty, on a beautiful Wednesday morning in western Maine as we have bluebird skies here, not a cloud to be seen, and nice, gorgeous, spring-like warm temperatures as we are sitting in 28-degree weather. It is expected to reach almost 40 degrees here today, and an absolutely fantastic day for women's Alpine Giant Slalom racing. Alex Beatty joins me here in the broadcast booth for the first time. Good morning, Alex, and welcome.
Good morning, boss. It is a beautiful day, as you said, 28 degrees, and it's only going to get warmer. I'm excited to be here, and I'm sure these racers are just excited as me for this gorgeous day of skiing.
Alex, you are a ski racer yourself, and you know exactly what it means to prepare for a USCSA National Championship. Talk a little bit about what's going on in the minds of these ski racers at the top of this hill today.
Well, boss, we've got a lot of racers still inspecting this course, planning their attack as they take on this challenging and very technical course that's been set for them today. I've had the privilege of skiing this course several times in my racing career, and it is a doozy. We've got some very steep parts up top, some very flat parts in the middle, a lot of alterations and changes in pitch. These racers will have to adjust and change their attack as they make their way down to the finish.
The course is called the Monday Morning Trail here at Sunday River. 749 meters of insanely difficult left and right turning for these ladies today. A vertical drop of 380 meters. They'll be coming down. Today's TD is C. Burnham from the United States. The referee of the race, L. Giannotti, and the chief of race is B. Bryan. We will see 3 forerunners come down, and then the ladies will begin. 101 contestants, a huge field here in the Women's GS National Championship. And we are in for some exciting ski racing. We're glad you're joining us here on the USCSA Radio Network as we'll be broadcasting both the first and second run today, where this afternoon we will crown a national champion here in the ladies GS. The 2012 USCSA National Championships are brought to you in part by Patagonia. Their mission to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and to use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Learn more at Patagonia.com, proud supporters of the USCSA. And by Reliable Racing. Whether it's Alpine and Nordic ski racing apparel and equipment, hill and event supplies, sports timing equipment, or hard-to-find race gear, Reliable Racing is your one-stop shop. Check them out on the web at ReliableRacing.com. Today's coverage also brought to you by Yeti Apparel. When you're facing truly abominable weather, the Yeti has you covered. Visit them at YetiApparel.com. Yeti, proud supporters of the USCSA. And by Hurricane Racing. When it's custom team Alpine, Nordic, or cycling race apparel you see, Hurricane Racing delivers. Demand the very best in custom-printed ski suits, jackets, pants, and race apparel. Demand Hurricane Racing. HurricaneRacing.com, official sponsors of the 2012 USCSA National Championships. Quite a course they have set for us here on the Monday Morning Trail, and it is difficult as it starts and comes over the apex in the top third of this race course. We see a hard skier's left-hand turn to the right side, skier's right of the run. Then they'll hit a steep pitch coming back towards the center of the trail, then back to the right again as the course flattens out in the middle. Then in the lower third, it is a steady and straight flush of gates, 8 gates to be exact, as they then make a hard left-hand turn into the finish line and the finish corral. The ladies, of course, will race 2 runs. We'll take the times from both runs, add them together, and of course that's how we determine our national champion. 101 racers on the plate, and you know, Alex, that up at the top at the start shack, there are some nervous ladies up there awaiting this first run because you have to nail the first run, otherwise you don't get the second one.
Absolutely, boss. The first run is critical for two very important reasons. Of course, you need to finish that first run to earn that second, and place order in the first run will determine seeding for the second. Making it in that top 30 is critical, as starting earlier in the course will have better conditions for your run.
So we're just about 5 minutes away here from our forerunners. Of course, an honor to be selected as a forerunner in an Alpine National Championship at the USCSA. We'll see 3 local ski racers come down. They'll check the course out to make sure there are no bumps or bruises that were missed in the slip earlier this morning. Of course, the athletes have been on the hill now since about 8 o'clock this morning, checking out this course. You are not allowed to ski the course before a national championship, but you are allowed to slip it to where you can see the gates. You can see how the gates are set up on the pitch. And they have laid out a challenging course here, no doubt, in the Monday morning trail in Sunday River. Let's go over some of our starting lineup here, as we will see 101 lady racers come down in the first run. First, we'll see from Sierra Nevada College, Matea Firk. Then it's St. Olaf's, Katie Ulfstead. Julia White from Syracuse, Abby Sussman from Cornell, Shannon Bloom from UMass. From the University of Minnesota Duluth, it's Amanda Peterson. Rocky Mountain College's Issa Floden. It'll be followed by University of Nevada Reno's Nicole Polshuk. Then it's Brenna Murray from University of Wisconsin at Madison, and Caitlin Forbes from
St. Anselm's.
Yes, you can just fill in whenever I don't know that 3-digit code, can't you? Go ahead, take our next 10 now, Ann.
It looks like after her we'll have Meredith Pike from University of Rochester, Meg Del Cole from Lafayette, Heather Dare from one second there, that's Heather Dare from Penn State, Caitlin Robinson from Berkeley, Emma LeBlanc from Brown, Brigitta Park from University of Connecticut, Morgan Duffy from University of Washington, Jill Clevenger from Clarkson, Samantha Bisnair from University of British Columbia, and in 20th, we'll have Jamie Roberts from Colorado State University, as I struggle to interpret this 3-letter code we've been given, boss.
Well, it looks like it's time now to take a break and perform our national anthem, which will be performed by a wonderful singer from the band Axis Armada, Nate Merrill, on the microphone for the national anthem today. So we'll ask all of the folks here in our finish corral and, of course, our spectators here live on the property to please rise and remove your hats for today's edition of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And the national anthem performed by our very own Nate Merrill. Thanks a lot, Nate. We appreciate that as we get ready for exciting ski racing here from the Monday Morning Trail in beautiful Sunday River, Maine. Let's go ahead and finish up our starting lineup while we've got some time here, just about 2 minutes away from our forerunners. Andy, take it away.
All right, starting 21st from Colorado will be Holly Evans. Just one sec here. And then we'll see Northern Michigan's Annalisa Honken. Colorado's Kayla Weber. Tufts University's Chelsea Stevens.
And that's the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill's Emily Kosmala. She'll be followed by Rebecca Callaghan. Brown University's Nika Mosenthal. Then it's St. Olave's McKenna McNabb, followed by Caroline Cleason from Sierra Nevada College. Then it's Penn State's Cassina Garrick. Those are your top 30. Again, 101 lady racers here on the first run. You have to complete the first run to make the second run. Of course, we'll take the top 30 times here in the first run. We'll reverse that order, and that's how we'll start the second run right at 1:30 this afternoon. Of course, you can listen to live coverage of today's second run of the women's Alpine Giant Slalom right here on the USCSA Radio Network. Just about time to see forerunners here. We are excited to bring you live coverage today. We're glad you're joining us on the World Wide Web, wherever you may be, listening to exciting ski racing on the USCSA Radio Network. Boss Hogg and Andy Beatty bringing it to you. Andy, you were a student at Tufts University, are you? You are a senior this year. You'll be graduating and then making your parents very proud by becoming a very rich and expensive doctor. Is that right?
That's right, boss. Absolutely. And I've had the pleasure of enjoying 4 great years in the USCSA as a competitor, if you'd call it that. Not a very strong skier, but a very strong ski announcer. I'm really excited for today's race. Excited to see some forerunners that are coming down very shortly. Of course, a great honor to forerun and a great responsibility. I've had a lot of friends who have foreran, and it is a very important key not to fall in the course. I've had a couple friends double eject as forerunners, and that's just very embarrassing, boss.
Of course, exciting action began yesterday here at the USCSA National Championships. We crowned 2 national champions in both ladies and men's snowboard GS. Also, we crowned some national champions down at the Nordic venue at the Bethel Cross Country Center, just about 5 miles down the hill here from the Monday Morning Trail. Congratulations to Katie Keogh from the University of Maine in Farmington. She was our national champion yesterday in the ladies snowboard giant slalom. An amazing performance by Katie Keogh as she repeated a 2-time national champion. She won last year out in Sun Valley, Idaho, and came back-to-back national championship victories, which is almost unheard of in the USCSA. And she threw down an incredible performance here on the Monday Morning Trail yesterday. In the men's division, in the snowboard giant slalom, it was Bates College's Ryan Espiritu winning the national championship, and just goes to show that, 2 Eastern racers come in with national champions here at an Eastern race course. Talk about, Alex, the difference between Western ski racing as far as the course is concerned and trails and hills like the Monday Morning Trail here at Sunday River.
Well, boss, here in the east, we've got much narrower trails, very differing conditions. The mountains are very short compared to those in the west, and the conditions definitely reflect it. A lot of icier patches. Of course, that's great for ski racing, but a lot of these eastern skiers are very well acclimated to these conditions, and the eastern region is very strong in this race.
Yesterday, we also saw 2 national champions from the Nordic division in the 1.5-kilometer sprint, both ladies and men's competition. Congratulations to the University of Wyoming's Sierra Jeck. She took the national championship for the ladies' 1.5-kilometer sprint. And then over on the men's side from Clarkson University, it was Alex Benway being crowned as the national champion. So 4 championships already awarded here yesterday, but lots more to come today, tomorrow, also on Friday and Saturday. We've got 4 exciting days of USCSA National Championship activity right here at Sunday River. If you're anywhere near the Western Maine Mountains, we invite you to come out, because I don't think there could be a better day for ski racing, snowboard racing, and Nordic racing than they have served up here at Sunday River for us today.
That's right, boss, and it's only going to get better when this race starts. I'm excited to see some very talented racers. We saw some great action yesterday at the Nordic race. I called my first Nordic race. It was a beautiful day, a beautiful course, beautiful venue, and a really exciting time.
Let's quickly check some of the schedule here for the USCSA National Championships. As today, of course, we'll be seeing the women's Alpine competition, both runs here on the Monday Morning Trail. We are at the Barker Broadcast Center, right at the base of the mountain. And, of course, right next to us, Alex, we see that the snowboard cross competition is also taking place. Skier cross and snowboard cross, so it should be a great day as you can really be in one location and check out just about everything that's happening at this USCSA Nationals.
That's right, boss. They've set up a very cool venue here. I have a great view of the snowboard and skier cross from here. I really hope to get a chance to hop over there later and watch some action.
And we're getting some notification here from our timing officials that the forerunners are getting ready to come down this hill. We'll see 3 forerunners. Of course, they will check out all of the gates. They'll get to the bottom finish corral, in which they'll radio up any information to the top of the hill to send any course workers down to make adjustments or repairs as necessary. As you can see, our first forerunner now on course, coming out of the top third into the middle section. And we can already see this is going to be a fast run today. These forerunners, of course, fortunate young athletes, and ultimately one day they won't be forerunning. In fact, they'll be racing in the competition. But certainly an honor for these kids to come down and check this course out this morning.
That's right, boss, and we can already tell a little bit of how this course is going to be. The end is a very technical, very turny section, and these athletes are definitely going to be tired by the time they make it down there. I anticipate seeing some falls over there.
Again today on the plate, Wednesday, March 7th, all part of the 2012 USCSA National Championships down at the Nordic venue, the Women's Nordic 8.5-kilometer freestyle event. That is the gut check for the ladies down there, an extremely long event, and they separate the girls from the ladies down there certainly this morning. That began right about 9:30, a half hour ago. We have Alpine GS racing for the ladies here, along with the border cross and the skier cross qualifiers, semifinals, and finals for the men right next door at Barker Mountain. Later on this afternoon, it will be the men's Nordic 8.5-kilometer freestyle competition at the Nordic venue. And then at 1:30 today, we'll see the final run for the women's Alpine GS. Forerunners still on course. We're just moments away from getting started here. We'll see Matea Furk from Sierra Nevada College. She'll be our first racer down. Then it'll be St. Olaf's Katie Ulfstead, followed by Syracuse University's Julia White. Cornell will send down Ashby Sussman in the 4th slot, and Shannon Bloom from the University of Massachusetts coming down 5th. Remember, a combination of 2 times. The first run time added to the second run time, and the lowest time becomes your national champion. You have to have a clean run, though. And you know, Alex, it puts some pressure on these ladies as they want to let it all hang out. They've been waiting for this moment all season long, and it is just a natural reaction to get out of the start gate and say, I'm going to throw it down now. But you've got to kind of really be careful with that. As a result of falling can end your day rather rapidly here in the women's competition.
You're absolutely right, boss. The mindset of some of these athletes is that although they have to have a stellar first run time, they might need to hold a little bit back to take a conservative enough line that they will in fact finish. It's a struggle, a mental battle, as much as a physical battle as this race gets underway.
Our final forerunner now into the lower third with 3 gates to go as she crosses the stripe. And we are just about ready to get underway. Matea Furk from Sierra Nevada College. She is in the start shack, waiting to drop in for run number 1. A good crowd now assembled here at the base of the Monday Morning Trail at Barker Mountain in Sunday River, Maine. Of course, Jake Treadwell and his race crew have spent countless hours getting this run prepared, and they have done one heck of a job. All of the folks here at Sunday River, of course, really pitching in. It takes a village to throw one of these national championships, and we always love to be here at the Sunday River Resort. The folks here just make it so easy to have a national championship. We want to thank all of the people who come together, lots of volunteers around this thing, and without them, it would not be what it is. So thank you to all the folks here at Sunday River for making our stay so wonderful. And it looks like they make some last-minute course preparations here at the top of the hill. And it looks like we have our first racer on course. Wearing bib number 1 from Sierra Nevada College, it is Matea Furk. Matea with a great run last year at USCSA Nationals in Idaho.
That's right, Matea Furk, 24 years old, a sophomore out of Sierra Nevada, originally from Croatia, so just the first racer in this League of Nations here at the USCSA National Championships. A really fantastic racer, and I anticipate seeing a very strong time out of our first racer, definitely setting the bar very high for our next couple contestants.
What you're looking for as you see the skiers come down here in the center part of the course, you're looking for as little bit of snow blow as possible. When there is no scraping, that means they're on edge. That means it's fast, and fast wins as Matea Furk makes her way into the lower third with 5 gates to go. Impressive intermediate splits for Matea Furk as the legs really start to burn at the bottom of this run. And Matea Furk, now our first racer, across the finish line in a time of 1:17.71. Of course, the greatest part of being the first racer down is you are atop the leaderboard. No doubt about it, as Matea Furk has a super run here in run number 1 of the Women's Giant Slalom National Championships. Now on course from St. Olaf College, it's Katie Olvstead. She'll be followed by Julia White from Syracuse University. From our vantage point here at the base of Barker Mountain, it looks like we're missing about the top maybe quarter of this run, Alex, as we see them then apex the hill, come over into our view, and we get about the second 2/3, I think, of this run. But we do have some information as far as timing is concerned, and we'll be able to keep you posted as to what's happening at the top of the mountain. Meanwhile, into the center section comes Katie Olvstead from St. Olaf. She is skiing well, really trying to let the hips flow back and forth, staying on edge. Scraping is slow. They want to try to really use the edge, use their body position, and not have to scrape speed by skiing out. Here comes Katie Olvstead from St. Olaf. 4 gates to go for Olvstead. Now into the tuck. And across the stripe comes Katie Olvstead in a time of 1:21.11. That'll put her in the second spot, but you can take a look at the difference in times, Alex. A 1:21.11 versus a 1:17.71 for Matea Furk. And Matea Furk may have just laid down an extremely difficult to beat time.
That's right, boss. 4 seconds may not seem like a lot, but it is a very large amount to make up in ski racing. Katie Olvstead will have to throw down a very impressive second run if she wants to challenge Matea Furk for that top spot. Of course, right now on course is Julia White from Syracuse University. She is tucking her way towards the finish, definitely carrying a lot of speed into the finish, and she will cross the stripe with a first run time of 1:25.20, 1:25.20 for Julia White.
So our top 3 are in place. Matea Furk leading the charge from Sierra Nevada College. She's followed by St. Olaf's Katie Olvstead, and then it's Syracuse University's Julia White. Now on course, it's Ashby Sussman from Cornell University. She makes her way into the lower third with 6 gates to go. She'll be followed by UMass's Shannon Bloom, now on course. And from the University of Minnesota Duluth, it's Amanda Peterson. Now crossing the stripe, it's Ashley Sussman from Cornell with a time of 1:27.13. She's in the 4th spot. Meanwhile, coming out of the center section into the lower third, it's Shannon Bloom from the University of Massachusetts. And high atop the hill from the University of Minnesota Duluth, it's Amanda Peterson, Issa Floden, now on course from Rocky Mountain College.
Shannon is...
And now across the stripe, it is Shannon Bloom from UMass with a time of 1:20.96, good enough for second place. Still really showing that the first run from Matea Firk from Sierra Nevada College is going to be tough to beat. 117.71 for Firk and 120.96 for Shannon Bloom. Now on course from Minnesota Duluth, it's Amanda Peterson. Rocky Mountain College's Issa Floden should be coming over the apex into the middle section of the course. Here she is. 3 gates to go for Peterson from Minnesota Duluth. Now into the tuck and across the stripe, it's Amanda Peterson with a time of 125.73, good enough for 5th position. Rocky Mountain's Issa Floden on course. And now out of the start gate comes Nicole Polshuk from the University of Nevada, Reno. And it looks like Issa Floden had some difficulty in the transition there, Andy, as she came through the steep part into the flat. Looks like she had to scrape some speed to catch one of the gates there, the far right gate. She's back on course now. That's one of the difficulties of having to scrape a lot of speed. It's tough to get going again.
That's absolutely right, boss, especially on some of the flatter parts of this course. There are a couple. It can be a dire part to lose speed for these racers who need to conserve every amount of velocity as they make their way down to the bottom section.
Issa Floden crosses the line in a 121.94. A good run for Floden. She did pick up the speed at the bottom. That's good enough for 4th place from Rocky Mountain College. Now with 3 gates to go from Nevada Reno, it's Nicole Polshuk. Polshuk into the tuck. Good speed coming through the finish line. Into the corral comes Polshuk in a time of 118.84. What a fast run for Nicole Polshuk. That's good enough for 2nd place, but they are slowly but surely chopping away at that big 4-second lead set by Matea Firk earlier on, the first runner out of the gate today.
That's right, boss. We've got a lot of talented racers yet to come. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one that could eclipse Matea Firk's time, but so far we haven't seen anyone come really close.
Now it's Brenna Murray from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. She's got 4 gates to go, followed by Caitlin Forbes from St. Anselm College. But across the stripe comes Brenna Murray from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in a time of 124.92, good enough for 6th position. So our top 5 look like this. Issa Floden in 5th from Rocky Mountain College. Katie Olfstead from St. Olaf in 4th. Then it's Shannon Bloom from University of Massachusetts in 3rd. In the 2nd slot, Nicole Polshuk from Nevada Reno. And currently leading the race, it's Matea Firk from Sierra Nevada College. As Caitlin Forbes now crossing the finish line in a tuck in a time of 121.63. That puts her in the top 5.
Right, boss. I talked to Caitlin before the race, and she told me she wants to dedicate her first run to her dog, Sadie, a loving companion. And she has really put down a very impressive run. I'm sure her dog would be proud.
Meg Del Cole now from Lafayette College wearing bib number 12. She is on the course. She'll be followed by Heather Dare from Penn State University. Caitlin Forbes, of course, moving into the top 5 with that 121.63 finish. But still the lady to beat, Matea Firk from Sierra Nevada College, a 117.71 first run time, quite impressive. Over a second ahead of 2nd place now, Nicole Polshuk from Nevada Reno. And here comes Meg Del Cole from Lafayette College. Out of the center section into the lower 3rd.
She is handling this really well, boss. Great precision there. She's staying very close to the gates and taking a very aggressive line. She's going to have a very impressive time as she makes her way to the bottom.
Here comes Meg Del Cole from Lafayette College into the tuck, and across the stripe into the corral comes Del Cole with a time of 126.83. Part of the course we are unable to see here from our vantage point at the bottom of the Monday Morning Trail. We can't see if there is some time issues up there, if there's difficulty. You know that is typically the steepest part of the trail. They come out of the start gate, they drop in, the nerves are pumping, the heart is pumping, and often you can have difficulty high atop the mountain, and it looks like that might have happened to Meg Del Cole.
That's right, boss. It can get very icy up there, as I know from personal experience. It's a cruel, cruel course, and it's very icy at the start. And then as it starts to get easier and easier, the racers get tireder and tireder as they make their way to the bottom.
Heather Dare now on course from Penn State University. She was 10th at the first intermediate split, then moved up to 7th in the second intermediate split. If she can continue that, she might make top 5 as she runs into the final 8 gates. Here comes Heather Durr. She'll be followed by Caitlin Robertson from University of California at Berkeley. 3 gates to go for Heather Durr from Penn State University. And across the stripe is Durr, and yes, she did pick up some more time in the bottom of the run with a 124.49, good enough for 7th position. So let's run down your top 10 here in run number 1 of the Women's USCSA Giant Slalom National Championship. In 10th position, it is Amanda Peterson from Minnesota Duluth. In 9th, Julia White from Syracuse. In 8th, it's Brenna Murray from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. In 7th, Heather Deer from Penn State University. Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College in the 6th slot. Rounding out your top 5, it's Caitlin Forbes from St. Anselm College. In the 3rd position, Shannon Bloom from UMass. Nevada Reno's Nicole Polshuk in 2nd. And still leading from Sierra Nevada College, Matea Ferk. Now coming across the stripe from University of California, Berkeley, it's Caitlin Robinson. The time of 142.41, 13th position. And right behind her, it's Emma LeBlanc from Brown University. The Brownies, Lady Brownies now. Across the stripe comes Emma LeBlanc in a time of 121.49. And so from 15th starting position, a top 5 finisher at 121.49 for Emma LeBlanc. That's going to move her into the top 5. A good run from LeBlanc.
That's right, boss. And this Brown team is very, very strong and very deep. They performed very well at the Eastern Conference Regionals. I believe they won both slalom and giant slalom, so a very strong team from Brown. And their next few racers will also put up some very impressive numbers.
Here comes the University of Connecticut's Brigitte Park. Brigitte Park across the stripe in 121.81, good enough for 7th position. She'll be followed by the University of Washington's Morgan Duffy. And now on course, Clarkson University's Jill Clevenger. As we see Morgan Duffy now out of the center section into the lower third, 12 gates to go for Duffy. Duffy 14th at the first intermediate split, all the way down to 9th in the second intermediate split, so she picked up some speed in the center part of the course. Let's see if she can keep it going as she reaches the final gate, and across the stripe comes Morgan Duffy with a time of 123.65. That's good enough for a 9th place.
You can tell she really wanted it there, boss. She carried a lot of speed into the finish, setting a huge tuck, and I think it really, really helped out her time there.
Now it's Jill Clevenger from Clarkson University, 11th after the first split, 9th after the second split. She's in the lower third with 6 gates to go. She'll be followed by the University of British Columbia's Samantha Bisnair. But now with 3 gates to go, it's Jill Clevenger. Clevenger into the tuck and across the stripe. Into the corral comes Clevenger with a time of 121.74. A good performance by Clevenger. That's good enough for 7th place. Now moving out of the center section into the lower third, coming into view, it's Samantha Bisnair from the University of British Columbia. She's got a great run going. 6th place at the first intermediate split. 3rd place in the second intermediate split. Can she make up enough time to challenge Matea Ferk? Here comes Samantha Bisnair from the University of British Columbia with a gate to go. Into the tuck, now across the stripe. Here is Samantha Bisnair, and it is good enough for 3rd place with a time of 120.92. As these racers come down, Alex, you can see that this Matea Ferk laid down quite a run first out of the gate today.
She did, boss, and I thought that Samantha Bisnair was going to come very close to tying that, and she did. She was very close, skiing like a fireball in her fiery red and yellow GS suit. It was really a pleasure to watch her come down.
Now from Colorado State University, it's Jamie Roberts. Roberts will be followed by Columbia's Polly Evans. And across the stripe, it's Jamie Roberts from Colorado State University in a time of 126.16. 16th place for Roberts. Of course, very, very important that these ladies make the top 30 because they take the top 30 times in the first run. They reverse the order, and that's who comes down first on the second run.
That's right, boss, and that 30th time is coveted because they will be racing first and have pristine conditions. No snow slipped off the course yet. It will be absolutely critical to maintain that top 30 position.
Now it's Annalicia Honiken from Northern Michigan University. Annalisa Honneken on course. She'll be followed by the University of Colorado's Kayla Weber. And in the start shack, awaiting her first run from Tufts University, your teammate, Chelsea Stevens.
That's right, boss. I'm really excited to see Chelsea come down. She's a great skier and a lover of the movie The Lion King, so a big Hakuna Matata to Chelsea Stevens as she waits in the start gate.
Annalisa Honneken from Northern Michigan University with 3 gates to go. She tries to hold her speed. And into the tuck and across the stripe comes Annalisa Honneken from Northern Michigan with a time of 1:30.45, good enough for 19th position. Out of the center section into the lower third from the University of Colorado, it's Kayla Weber. Weber with a good run going. 15th after the first intermediate split, 11th after the second checkpoint. Can she make up some more time and get into the top 10? Here comes Kayla Weber from the University of Colorado. And across the stripe is Weber with a time of 1:24.41, good enough for 12th. She lost some speed in the lower part of the course. Meanwhile, it looks like your teammate Chelsea Stevens from Tufts having some difficulty as she made the transition over the apex of the hill here and had a tough time with a left-hand turn, it appears, Alex, and might be a tough break for Chelsea Stevens. In fact, it is. It looks like she has skied off course, and that's going to be the end of her giant slalom competition here at Sunday River.
That's right, boss. She's not going to be too happy about that performance, but she will get another chance on Friday as she competes in the slalom. Of course, Chelsea, a great racer, and we'll see some great skiing from her on Friday.
So a tough break for the Tufts team here early in the first run of the ladies' giant slalom here from the Monday Morning Trail. The base of Barker Mountain in Sunday River, Maine on a gorgeous Wednesday morning. Bluebird skies, the sun high in the sky. Not a breath of wind outside. Temperatures now expected to come up into the mid-40s today, and you could not ask for better conditions for a national championship in the women's giant slalom. It's Emily Kosmala now from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the Dirty South, represented here at the USCSA National Championships. Emily Kosmala, she makes her way into the final 3 gates and across the stripe. Here comes Emily Kosmala. And UNC Chapel Hill's Kosmala now into the finish corral with a time of 1:43.08. Nice to see the Southern States represented here as well at the Nationals.
That's right, boss. Of course, I'm from Maryland myself, and of course, you're from Georgia. It's great to see some Southern competitors here in this very, very northern sport.
I just like the fact that they have biscuits and gravy and grits for breakfast every morning before the race. Now out of the middle section comes Rebecca Calgren. Of course, Rebecca Calgren's dad, Brian, the founder of the Jean-Claude Quillet 1971 sunglasses, the official sponsor of Boss Hogs Eyewear. We'll tell you more about that as the race week goes on. It's great to see the Calgrens all involved in ski racing. Brian here today watching his daughter compete. Here comes Rebecca Calgren. Now Rebecca with 3 gates to go, 2-1, and across the stripe comes Rebecca Calgren in a time of 1:26.66. A good run for Calgren. That's good enough for 18th position. She'll hopefully hold on to a top 30 slot, and she'll be involved in the flip. But still lots of racers to go, 101 competitors. Meanwhile, from Brown University, it's Nika Mosenthal. This is Kaya's younger sister. Of course, Kaya Mosenthal last year in contention for a national championship. Here comes Nika Mosenthal from Brown University, and a good run for Nika Mosenthal, 1:21.70. That's good enough for 8th position, currently in the top 10.
That's right. Nika had a great run, and when you're standing 3'8", weighing 700 pounds, it's really no trick to having a great run. She put all of her force into every turn, and it really showed, boss.
Yeah, the Mosenthals, an extremely great ski racing family, and all the kids involved, and it's wonderful to see the youngest sister now coming up through the ranks. Now McKenna McNabb from St. Olaf comes across the stripe in a time of 1:22.21. A good run for McKenna McNabb. That's good enough for 12th position. Caroline Cleason from Sierra Nevada College. She's on course. Into your view into the lower third. She'll be followed by Penn State University's Kasny Gehring and Charlotte Skinner from University of California, Berkeley in the start shack awaiting her first run.
Of Of course, McKenna McNabb, a great teammate, just wants to remind all of her teammates to please wear their seatbelts on the ride back just to keep them safe and ready for this week of racing.
It's funny to watch Lady GS racers talk about safety as they fly 60 miles an hour down a 41-degree pitch. Now across the stripe it is Caroline Cleason from Sierra Nevada College, and a great run from Cleason. Wow. As we were talking about another ski racer, Cleason sneaks in with a 120.10, good enough for top 3. That puts her in the 3rd slot. So out of nowhere, late in the pack, it is Caroline Cleason from Sierra Nevada College, and she moves into the 3rd position. So Sierra Nevada now dominating as Matea Ferk still atop the leaderboard with a 117.71. Nicole Polshuk from University of Nevada, Reno in 2nd, and now the teammate from Sierra Nevada, Caroline Cleason, in 3rd. Meanwhile, across the stripe comes Kasny Gehring from Penn State University with a time of 1:31.55. That's good enough for 25th slot. Next, we'll see UCal Berkeley's Charlotte Skinner. She's followed by Syracuse's Nicole Saltzman. And now on course from the University of Washington, it's Allison Howe. Five gates to go for Charlotte Skinner from the University of California at Berkeley. Now into the tuck and across the stripe comes Skinner. And with a time of 1:30.57, puts her in the 25 slot. Nicole Saltzman from Syracuse now coming out of the center section into the lower 3rd and carrying good speed. Down the steep transition, now into the flat lower 3rd section. 8 gates to go for Saltzman.
That's right, boss. I saw a lot of snow brush off her skis there as she made that hard left-hand turn. And that might have an impact on her time, but she's still carrying a lot of speed towards the finish.
Indeed she is. And across the stripe comes Nicole Saltzman at a time of 1:26.40. Good enough for the top 30 so far, but lots of racers to come. That's 21st position for Saltzman. Now it's University of Washington's Allison Howe. She'll be followed by UMass's Katie Tadero and Christina Donnelly from the University of British Columbia in the start shack awaiting her first run. Now into the lower 3rd with 8 gates to go, Allison Howe from the University of Washington. Howe skiing well here, trying to hold the speed. And across the stripe, it's Allison Howe from Washington. A time of 1:27.77, 25th slot for Allison Howe.
You can see some of these racers struggling to hold their edges here near the bottom. They're definitely exhausted, putting everything out there to try to place well for that second run.
Almost a minute and 30-second run here on the Monday Morning Trail. You can bet it's nuclear in the last 8 gates. So all of the lactic acid begins to build up. And what was easy in the first 5 gates becomes almost impossible in the last 5 gates. Great athletic ability from these ladies today. And it looks like stopping short of the finish line here is Katie Tadero from the University of Massachusetts. As she missed the last gate, she knows it. She's going to try to hike, but I don't think she's going to make it before she's going to have to get out of the way as the next racer comes down.
That's right, boss. Looks like she was deciding which way to ski around that last blue gate, and she made the wrong decision. Good thing she knows it, though. She was able to stop herself before she crossed the finish line. That was very important, as it would have led to her being disqualified if she had crossed.
So she is going to continue to hike here, but she's pushing herself out of the way as the next racer, Christina Donnelly, from the University of British Columbia, crosses the stripe in 1:29.16, and because of that, that's going to be the end of Allison Howe's day. Or for Katie Tadero's day, I'm sorry, from University of Massachusetts. A tough break for Katie.
Right, boss, but great sportsmanship. She knew to get out of the way and make way for one of her fellow racers. That's great sportsmanship award for Katie Tadero.
Now University of Connecticut's Denali Graham on course into the final 3 gates comes Graham. Now Graham across the stripe in a time of 1:30.70 and good enough for 29th position, but very close to the 30th bubble there as all of the girls fighting it out to make that flip for the second run. The best snow conditions will be for the second run, the top 30 skiers. Of course, they'll reverse the order. The 30th fastest of the first run will start the afternoon session. The 29th fastest this morning in second, and so on. So being top 30, an important position here for these ladies after run number 1 is Catherine Roysch from the University of Minnesota Duluth now makes her way into the final 3 gates. And now Catherine Roosh across the stripe in 135.70. She's followed by Rocky Mountain College's Mimi Palavara. And now Palavara swinging left to right. She's got a good run going here in the lower third with 5 gates to go. Mimi Palavara, 5th after the second intermediate split. Let's see if she can make up some time as Palavara crosses the stripe in 121.21. Good enough for top 10. That puts Palavara from Rocky Mountain College in the 7th slot.
She had a dynamite run, boss. Great carving there near the bottom. She was hot on Catherine Royce's tails there. I almost thought there was going to be an overtaking.
And now it looks like Kirsten Huff. Kirsten Huff from St. Anselm College on